All right, so a lot of wild stuff happening, a lot of wild stuff going on. For those of you who haven't seen, Tucker Carlson recently released a documentary, 30 minutes long, on his YouTube channel titled, "Who is Thomas Crooks?" For those of you who do not know who Thomas Crooks was, he was the assassin that tried to assassinate Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, a little over a year ago today. He was set up on a rooftop during one of President Trump's speech, his rallies, and took a shot, opened fire upon the president, nearly missing by a centimeter, taking the president's life.
Yeah, look at what happened. Oh.
Luckily, it just grazed his ear, and the president wasn't assassinated, and Thomas Crooks was shortly shot right after that. Right after Thomas Crooks was killed, they did an investigation trying to understand who this person was, where he came from, what he was all about. And it became super weird and interesting after that point. The FBI couldn't find any video evidence whatsoever in terms of who Thomas Crooks was, what his beliefs were, why he did what he did. And they had no information at all, like, to show us at that time. They said that they tried to get into his phone, but his phone was encrypted. They showed up to his home. His home was completely clean. There was nothing, no evidence that showed the fact that he wanted to assassinate President Donald Trump and that he had any ill will or intention of doing so. They did say, however, that he was a right-wing guy, so he was a right-winger, but he wanted to assassinate President Donald Trump, which doesn't make any sense at all. What's also interesting and fascinating is that this kid was also in a BlackRock commercial, which is nuts. That's super interesting, super fascinating. And, you know, what are the questions and why are we investigating more of that? One of the things that they found with Tucker Carlson is that they were able to find his digital footprint on YouTube with the comments that he made online, as well as the replies that he had received on YouTube. And there were a lot of them that were ill will towards the president, a lot of dangerous remarks in terms of, you know, comments that would most likely get you on FBI's watch list. And the fact that this guy, Thomas Crooks, made these comments on YouTube, on social media, and that he was not put on a watch list, and the fact that he got as far as he did with a rangefinder to almost killing the president is very suspicious, and it's very, very weird. So in the grand scheme of things, you know, with this video, it baffles my mind that I've learned more in this 30-minute video that's currently out right now with Tucker Carlson than I have in the last year from the FBI. And in response to Tucker Carlson putting this video out about Thomas Crooks, instead of the FBI saying, "Oh my God, Tucker, this is a great job. You did such a fantastic thing." No, they responded in retaliation saying what they've done and what they've been doing in terms of the investigation. And they actually, Tucker Carlson tried to work with them, and they were pretty difficult to work with. It raises a lot of questions, not a lot of good questions for the FBI. And it's wild to see that this is happening, and that the only way now we're getting our information is not from our own government, but from independent journalists like Tucker Carlson that actually ask good and honest questions. And it's not like President Donald Trump doesn't want to know the information on who this kid was and why he did what he did. I think he really would like to know why this kid tried to take his life, and who this kid was, and who was he affiliated with? Why did he do what he do? What was his background? And, you know, with the FBI and not willing to put up this information, not as good as Tucker Carlson. You know, they're slacking in comparison to Tucker Carlson. And plus with the FBI, and, you know, these Epstein files, I think they're making a lot of mistakes that are not good in the eyes of the American people. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks.